Welcome to the Body Reset Blueprint, a decade worth of my work that I have made accessible to you because I want you to have the best health ever. And this framework I've been using with clients for the past decade. I have seen all sorts of phenomenal results. Clients have had the best best health results, health outcomes for themselves and their family, their community. They've been able to teach others this framework and this basis of reducing inflammation in their bodies so that they get more energy, they sleep better, they don't have all the menopause, perimenopausal pregnancy symptoms. Period symptoms, headaches, migraines, rashes, bloating. This will change your life. And this is the exact framework that I begin when I'm working with every single one-on-one client group program because this is foundational for your health. And I do very much take a different approach to this from other practitioners, very intentionally in terms of how I remove the foods and the process through that, which I'm going to talk you through so that you get results as fast as possible. Often, when we've been feeling unwell or when we finally find a solution to our problems, we want results really fast, and it's really frustrating when we have to go at the practitioner's timeline. So, what I've done is I've taken out everything that can cause inflammation and really made it to the basics while also teaching you the best way to eat. Because what I've found is people aren't eating enough for their liver, for their good liver health. And they're wondering why they're getting all these menopausal symptoms, night sweats, fatigue, brain fog, rashes. I'm also seeing people aren't doing things for their good gut bacteria, and that's why we're seeing a lot of parasites, imbalances of bacteria. People aren't healing their gut every single day. So while we're removing foods and reducing your inflammation so you get results really fast, and I'm going to tell you why we've done that and what we've done and what the purpose is, we're also putting in the good. So I've always been a practitioner that's focused on, well, what can you eat? What can we do to help you? And let's focus on that rather than focusing on the negative and what we've pulled out. However, I do know two things with working with clients and my corporate clients for such a long time. You need to know the why. You need to know why those foods have been removed, what they're doing in your body, and you also need it to be easy. So what I've found over the years is a couple of things is you want to enjoy what you're eating. You want to be able to eat and cook for everyone without it being overwhelming, stressful. Health has been kind of put on this pedestal where it's like only people that are good cooks can do this. It's going to take up too much time. It's too overwhelming. What about my favorite cookbooks, my favorite recipes? So, the point of this body reset blueprint is yes, it's got my guidelines. Yes, it's got my framework, but you still get to take your fridge, your cupboards, your groceries, your shopping, your favorite cookbooks, your favorite authors, your favorite blogs, and you can plug that all into the AI, and then it's going to come back with all the tweaks. It's like back in my day, back in when I was going to school, shows my age. It's like when I was writing something for English and the teacher would go through with their red biro, crossing out or showing, circling all the grammars and where the grammar mistakes, where there was no full stop or a spelling mistake. So we get the best of my brain with the Body Reset Blueprint AI so it can help you in real time. You don't get frustrated, you don't get stuck, you get rules because rules is really what gets you results fast. And the more all in you go, and the more, and you'll learn. Like the thing is, you're going to have me in your pocket. I have given it all, everything. I've given it all my knowledge. Um, so that all my IP, so that you have me in real time feeding back. And the feedback that we've had from clients using it is just how easy it is when they're traveling, how easy it is when they're out at corporate lunches, corporate dinners, entertaining clients, how easy it is to go shopping with, because you're learning in real time and then you can tweak things. Plus, yes, we give you, if you've chosen to take this, you get my actual like meal plan. I say meal plan like this, and because it's a PDF, you get that while you're learning if you decided to take that option. And then you get this creating your meal plans, creating your grocery lists, creating your recipes to suit your lifestyle, how you want to batch cook, what you want to do. But let's talk about the guiding principles for this and the framework that I use with all my clients. First of all, hydration is absolutely key. Every single 10-day program I do, my 12-month program, we're always looking at your water. So you really want to make sure that you're sipping your water, you're drinking enough water, that you're getting yourself hydrated because every single cell in our body relies on being hydrated. If you don't, and then you need electrolytes as well, and these recipes have been uploaded into the Body Reset blueprint already. So I get clients to make their own electrolytes because it's cheaper, right? You use things that you're already doing at home and it's very cheap. When you're not hydrated, when you're not having enough electrolytes, it's hugely stressful on your body. And this feeds into my other programs when you're doing the cortisol program. It is going to put stress on your body and increase your cortisol levels. Cortisol then disrupts your other sex hormones. So, anytime that we can bring down stress on your body, bring down cortisol through how much you're drinking, how you're drinking, this is really key. So, depending on where in the world you are, the basic formula for hydration is your body weight in kilograms divided by 30 is how many liters you need to drink per day. So if you're 60 kilograms, divide that by 30 and you need 2 liters of water per day to be sipping on, and then you want to add in the Shelly Lights. Easy. Then the next thing that's really key, we get you hydrated. Then we need to look at how often are you eating. Now, unless you've got hypoglycemia or you've been diagnosed with a blood sugar imbalance, a blood sugar condition, something where you're working with a medical doctor, please always take their advice. They are your primary caregiver. This is educational. This is telling you guidelines, frameworks that I use with clients, but please talk to your doctor first if you're on some sort of blood sugar medication or any sort of medication that requires you to eat more or do things differently to this framework. So always go to your primary medical doctor professional first, get their sign off. But for all my clients, when they're in maintenance of health, when they don't have blood sugar conditions, we've healed them, we've healed their adrenals, when they're needing to eat all the time, little and often, or any other conditions, symptoms where that is the case, long term and for optimal health, we actually only want to be eating every 5 to 6 hours. So that is what I have plugged into the Body Reset Blueprint. We have calculated it based on you either having 2 meals or 3 meals per day. We have also programmed it so that you actually eat breakfast and break your fast first. This is really important for your thyroid health. It's really important for your hormonal health. It's very important for cortisol regulation in your body. So it's really quite a key piece. And then from there, once you've had your meal, whatever that may be, whether it's a smoothie, whether it's a soup, lunchtime, you want to wait 5 to 6 hours later. Because, yes, your transit time in terms of from when you eat something to when you poo, ideally should be 17 to 24 hours later. Now, if you haven't listened to my free podcast series, the first 5 is what it's called, and I talk about transit time and poo health, please make sure you go onto the website and get that. It's all for free. It comes to your inbox. 5 different episodes on 5 different things that you won't have really heard about in mainstream from about health. So transit time 17 to 24 hours. However, when we're looking at your meal plan, when you're using my framework and the Body Reset Blueprint, I am saying you should eat your meals every 5 to 6 hours. You can take longer in between if you're somebody that likes to have breakfast later in the morning and then an early dinner, whatever that looks like for you. Just please make sure that you are waiting those 5 to 6 hours. Now, I also encourage you to eat wherever in the world you are based on your sunlight. That is a really good principle. Doesn't always work because sometimes wherever in the world you are, your sunlight might go to 11 p.m. but you ideally want to eat kind of by 6:30. You don't want to be eating your main dinner at like 8 o'clock at night. Okay, so that's also very key to eat within those light windows because that is how our bodies are designed to eat, and that is a part of my framework. So those are the ways in terms of how often the structure around how you're eating. Once you are healed, like you've gotten rid of all your inflammation and all of the inflammatory triggers, these are key pieces. Your water and how often you're eating. These are still key principles that I get all my clients to implement for the rest of their lives. Then you also want to make sure that on your plate for every single meal, and this is what's in the Body Reset Blueprint, that you've got protein, good quality fats, and a lot of veggies, so a lot of fiber. Now, this is for your liver especially, and clearing out your estrogen, especially amongst other things for why you need a lot of fiber, poo health being one of them as well. So that is a key component of your plate and how we have structured the plates and the meals in the AI assistant. So whenever you're creating a meal, it's going to remind you to make sure that you've got your protein, your fats, and your fiber. This is really, really key. Okay, so then the next thing you want to be doing daily for your good gut health is you always want to be eating fermented foods. So we're going to encourage that in all the meal plans and in the AI assistant. Fermented foods, absolutely key for really great health for every single day of your life. We need to feed our good gut bacteria. You can pick what sort of fermented foods you want. I run workshops teaching you how to make your own at home because quite often what clients will say to me is they don't like the taste when they're buying them out. So I teach you the principles, give you different recipes, and then you can create your own to your lifestyle and what you enjoy, whether you prefer more like beetroot flavors, kimchi, sauerkraut, anything, or different. You might even want to ferment potatoes or broccoli, carrots, whatever it may be, so you get all the different health benefits. And it's a really great way to use up your vegetables in your fridge. Now, in terms of do you have to eat organic, there's certain times I definitely say to eat organic. That would be definitely when it comes to fermenting and bone broth. However, you can wash your vegetables in baking soda and apple cider vinegar instead. We also have the Clean 15 that's released every year and the Dirty Dozen. So there's always internationally standards across the world. The vegetables that they're telling you, if possible, can you please eat organic? And if you can't eat everything organic, then definitely focus on the foods that they tell you that are the dirty ones, Dirty Dozen, and then the Clean 15 because it's like, for example, celery's grown above the ground, so it takes a lot of the pollution from the air. If you're on a busy road and your veggie garden's right by the road, you're going to get a lot of those toxins. So I would definitely recommend looking into those and then prioritizing. And if you aren't eating organic, then you definitely want to just be making sure that you're washing all your fresh produce because there's a lot of heavy metals, there can be parasites, all sorts of things happening with our fresh produce. So be mindful of that. Then, but when you're fermenting foods, organic only, bone broth, organic only as well, because this is really, really crucial. So I kind of make that a fundamental principle for all my clients, have for the past decade. Even my corporate clients, I'll always tell them the same thing. Now, the other thing is we want to be healing our guts every single day. So this is another key foundational piece of your health that you're going to do for the rest of your life. You've learned it in this program, but you're going to continue implementing it forevermore. So you want to make sure that you're having at least 1 cup of bone broth per day. In our Body Reset Blueprint, we have incorporated how to make, and I've also done a workshop if you want to get the recording of that live workshop of how to make your bone broth, how to use your bone broth, how to implement it, and how I use it in everyday recipes to get it into my family's diet, into my son's diet, so that we all can continue daily just healing our gut. Because of the stress load on us, we're always creating leaky gut. Then, if you don't want to do bone broth, you'll see the Body Blueprint Reset. You'll see it refer to collagen. Now, I definitely use collagen daily as well. I often put it in my cacao. I like cacao because it gets me extra magnesium each day. So I use collagen because in the summer I don't always want soups and bone broth. And I'm not always cooking slow cooked meals where it's easy to put bone broth in. So you also can do collagen instead. And you'll find in the AI that it will recommend recipes of how to make gelatin little molds and stuff that you can get collagen in that way as well. If that works better for your family, we put collagen into the smoothie recipes. And the brands that we use are also linked so that in the AI assistant, or you can go onto the shellygarworth.com shop and you'll see them all there as well. Nice and easy. I always recommend brands with no chemicals or additives, flavors, numbers, anything like that, because I don't want any of those things coming in and causing you inflammation. Now, you can upload your own collagen brands, take photos, upload it to the AI assistant so you can learn what you're feeding you and your family and your work colleagues and everyone else. Like, absolutely use this tool in the work lunchroom. Like use it in your chats, use it everywhere because it will change your life. And like I say, all the clients using it already are just like, wow, I thought I had a good grasp of my health, but this is absolutely next level. We love it. Now, in terms of drinks, do I ban things like coffee? Absolutely not. What I will say though is coffee can have a high mold component to it, also can have a lot of chemicals. So just be mindful of the coffee that you're drinking, how often you're drinking it. And then if you don't have dairy with it and you're using nut milks, look at the nut milks. Do they have canola oil? Do they have sunflower oil or some other oil that's causing you inflammation? So I just ask a few extra questions around that. And if you're a caffeine drinker, the other thing with your teas is, are your tea bags bleached? Like, are you getting heavy metals that way? And then just add an extra water for the amount that those drinks are dehydrating you. Now, I'm not a believer in soy in this program. So all of those things, just so you know, they are what we want you to implement for the rest of your life. So stay hydrated, eat your meals at least 5 to 6 hours apart, take a deep breath, try and get parasympathetic before eating. So that's simple things like do a deep breath, pause, have some gratitude for the sun, the earth, whoever, the farmer, God, religion, whatever you believe in, the gratitude to yourself. Chew your food. I often encourage clients to use their meals as a mindfulness activity because that's going to help you remember we only have teeth in our mouths. It sounds really basic. I 100% get it. And you can laugh and be like, I know. But the truth is, I see so many people, especially small children as well, just like putting in mouthfuls and mouthfuls of food and not really swallowing it. So the more time you spend chewing it, that's why I encourage it to become your mindfulness activity. And then you can get parasympathetic. You can switch your nervous system at the same time. Like, what a gift to be able to switch your nervous system at the same time. I just think that's the best gift. I'm all about stacking the health benefits. So the more things you can do at the same time, all about it. So we want you to be parasympathetic when you start eating, then spend enough time eating or sipping your smoothies, sipping your drinks, whatever it may be, rather than gulping them in a rush. Then you always want to have protein, fiber, and small amount of fat in all your meals. You want to be having fermented veggies daily and either collagen or bone broth. So those are the principles for the rest of your life. So what you signed up with the AI assistant to help you eat, you're now learning my framework that I use in everything that I do with clients. Every single program is just the base for really good health. So now, in terms of what we've removed, in terms of the key things that cause the most amount of inflammation for people, soy. It's a hormone disruptor. Soy is out in this meal plan and in the body reset blueprint. Okay. The next thing that's out is eggs. A lot of people don't realize that they're reacting to eggs. Now, this was a part of my story when I was told by the medical world that I was on death's door and I was back living with my parents because the doctors couldn't do anything for me. And my parents were relearning how to eat healthy and how to support my body, and they were reading about how important protein was. An easy protein for breakfast is obviously eggs. Now, I was in bed for 23 and a half hours a day as it is. Like I was wiped out and very exhausted, very tired, very fatigued. So it seems funny to think that would even notice that eggs were making me more tired, but they would give me such bad brain fog. And I would literally, my mum would like feed me the eggs, and then I'd be like, I'm just so tired, I need to go to sleep. So that was how much eggs impacted me. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback that we get from clients when they do the 10-day health immersion, where eggs are removed as well, when they add the eggs back in, they often find that they get bloated, they get a rash, they get a headache, they feel like they've got hay fever or some sort of activation in their bodies. Now, something else to be mindful of is there's allergies. So if you've got an allergic reaction to something, please pull that out of the food that is included in the Body Reset Blueprint as well. So always listen to your body, your medical status first. And I'm pulling out the major food sensitivities that most people have, okay? And this is to get you quick results as fast as possible. So eggs are out. Then we're pulling out dairy and gluten. Now, people always ask me, is this going to be forever? Am I allowed to add these back in? And I do another instant access masterclass about adding the foods back in to get the greatest success. So I'm here to help you on that side as well if you choose to want that help. We don't want to keep you restricted forever, but we do need to give your body ideally a few months to really be able to heal and for you to be able to see the results. So ideally, I would really encourage you to do this for a few months if possible. We definitely don't want you to be doing this for longer than 6 months. Like, this is not how you're going to eat for the rest of your life, but it is how you're going to eat to get maximum results. And just so you understand why I've picked what I have picked. So, dairy and gluten. Then we have also reduced lentils, chickpeas, and beans. Now, the reason I've reduced those foods, like they're not like bad by any means, and definitely get them back into your diet. What I have found with a lot of clients working with you, so this is my unique framework. You're not going to read this in every single book, and I'm not saying that chickpeas, lentils, and beans are terrible. What I will say though is anecdotally from working with thousands of clients over such a long amount of time, they cause a lot of bloating and a lot of digestive acid reflux feelings, headaches. So they cause a lot of symptoms for clients. So during this Body Reset Blueprint, I have removed these foods. Now, when you add them back in, if you get a symptom, it's telling you that you need to look at stomach acid or we need to look at something else for you. Okay, so that's really important. This is not forever, but I have definitely pulled it out of this program because they're really hard on your body to digest. And a lot of clients don't have enough stomach acid. And so I've pulled that out on your behalf to get you quicker results. I've also pulled out nightshades. So the reason for this is nightshades, a lot of people, especially with tomatoes, for example, they will get rashes. They will get hives or they'll get sores around their mouth. They'll break out internally. They'll get cold sores, all sorts of sores around their mouth, rashes, pain, rashes on their arms, on their skin, a lot of headaches and potentially migraines for people when they're eating nightshades. Now, once again, and oh my gosh, a really common symptom for clients is when they eat potatoes, they often get bloated. So once again, because I'm trying to get you health results fast and really support you to learn more about your body and to get you feeling great as fast as possible, that's why I've removed these foods. Once again, I'm not anti-nightshades. I think they make delicious meals. Obviously, a lot of flavor profiles, a lot of the Mediterranean diet has these foods. Another client who is actually Mediterranean, well, of like comes from that region, her family history. Whenever she eats those foods, she puts on weight, she gets bloated, she gets inflamed, she gets constipated. And so she had to go through and heal her body with stomach acid and her liver and really look after her body. Now she's been fine eating them, but initially caused her so much stress. But the amount of clients that I've seen react to tomatoes with rashes, and then as we support their liver and their digestive system, then they can add nightshades back in with no symptoms. So I 100% think that nightshades are really great flavor profile of our diets and make eating fun. But what I can tell you is they cause a lot of symptoms when your body or your liver is overloaded. So sometimes to be able to add the nightshades back in, we need to do a lot of liver work. We also need to look at your stomach acid and then we can add it back in. So I 100% do not think that nightshades should be out of your life forever. That is not my philosophy at all. But definitely for the next few months, while you're using the Body Reset Blueprint tool to really support your body, absolutely, you want results, you want to feel better, and you want to make as much progress for your health and your body as fast as possible. So that's why we've pulled that out. I also don't have sugar. Sugar is very inflammatory in your body, like it inflames your body. So the recipes, so straight sugar is not included in. For people with parasites, you're going to feed the parasites by having a diet high in sugar. So that is 100% why I've removed the sugar. You might not know that you've got parasites, you might not be aware of it, and so I'm like, we need to reduce the sugar. Sugar, if you've got parasites, is going to contribute to your rosacea, red skin. So I've removed the sugar from your diet during the Body Reset Blueprint. And then the other thing that we have reduced is the quantity of fruit. So what I found over the years is a lot of clients will get their fiber from fruit. Now, I am not anti-fruit by any means. In fact, I'm all for fruit for the flavors, for the minerals, the vitamins. I think it's immune boosting. I love the stone fruit in the summer because taste, right? Like we actually want to enjoy our meals. However, what I have found with working with people over the years is people will pick fruit over their vegetables. Now, I have looked at 10 years worth of food diaries, and let me tell you, all my clients do eat healthy. There is no denying that. Yet, I have never seen a single client eating with my framework, these principles from the moment they start seeing me. The other thing that's always missing from their food diary is the amount of vegetables that they need to be eating for liver support. Eating lettuce, great for hydration, not great for liver support. So when I'm talking about liver support, it's the dark leafy greens, the cruciferous vegetables, your cauliflower, your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, like really key that family group for liver. I'm not seeing people eat beetroot each day for your really good bile flow so that we're able to eliminate our toxins. So I often see people eating fruit at the expense of your vegetables. So if you can get in at least 6 cups of vegetables, you will see in some of the recipes that we put biofiber and nitrogreens. Those are some green products that my clients absolutely love. They get amazing results for the hormonal health, and it's really easy. So I 100% do use powders to help me meet these requirements. I can't get in enough vegetables. I can't eat enough protein without having NutriClear, without having collagen, without having nitrogreens and biofiber. So I am always fully transparent. You can go to my social media. I always tell you the honest truth of what I'm doing and why to keep it easy. So I'm a big believer in food. Like 100%, our diet is key for our health. You can't out supplement when you're like eating all these foods that aren't going to be nourishing for your body. 100%. But if there's a health hack from time to time for me to have the best health possible, to do my job and to support my family, I will definitely implement that and I will always tell you what I'm doing. So that is 6 cups of vegetables for the rest of your life, or some green powders means you can reduce the amount of vegetables you're having. But we really need to focus on the amount of vegetables that we're eating for our liver health. So many clients come to me so confused, telling me that they don't drink much alcohol and they don't have much coffee, yet they can't understand why their livers are overloaded. But if we haven't been, and then they say, but our livers are designed to naturally support detoxify. And that is true. However, there's a few different things going on in the world today. The amount of toxins coming at us that our liver now has to detoxify is way more than ever before in life. And then most of us are doing what our grandparents and great grandparents did by focusing on the foods to support our liver be able to detoxify. So that's really key that we're looking at those 6 cups of veggies per day or at substituting with some powders. The next things to be mindful of is I'm not a big believer, they're not banned, but I'm not a big believer in filler foods. So what I find is to actually eat for health and with the stomachs that we actually have in terms of the amount of food that we can possibly eat, there's a bit of a problem here. So if we favor gluten-free products or rice or a lot of quinoa and millet, like I'm not anti those things. However, it can be the expense of having all the good vegetables that we need. So rather than gluten-free pasta, I would suggest zucchini noodles or fermented carrot noodles so you get all the estrogen clearing benefits. I, I would suggest cabbage noodles. I would suggest rocket. Like if you're going to do nachos, do potato nachos or do rocket base so that you're getting those bitter foods for your liver support. So that's how I would look at it. I'm not anti those filler foods, but I just see them as filler foods. They're not adding to your health, they're not adding to your nutrition. So I would encourage you to minimize them. But you can also, you don't have to do everything overnight. That's why, when you sign up for this, it's not you just sign up for it for a few days intentionally. The minimum that you could have this body reset blueprint AI is for a month on purpose, 30 days on purpose, because I know that it takes more than a few days and that can feel very overwhelming. And that's not the point of this. We want you to be able to take your time to get the support to create new habits. Now, a habit to make a shift can take a month, but to really have that implemented and integrated into your weekly life, your monthly life, your family's life, it will definitely take at least 3 months. So we are mindful of this. That's why we've made it at least 30 days that you have this for, but a lot of you will continue using it and gleaning all the information because it's just an amazing healing tool for you and your family. And when you realize that you get my intellectual property and the framework that I teach all of my clients in every single program and one-on-one client, these are the principles that I've been teaching for a decade. It is a game changer in terms of absolutely you want to keep using it. And then you just get to up level your life with the 10-day programs or the 12-month programs. Or the Shelley says so, you get all the daily knowledge. So you're just going to keep adding tools into your toolbox. That's the really exciting thing. Now, a couple more things. Red meat. I am 100% a believer in red meat for your iron levels. So I'm always going to tell you full disclosure, I believe that food from nature, plant or animal based, is amazing for all of us. You're allowed to do you, but what I will say is we've limited the amount of red meat on purpose because it needs a lot of stomach acid. So we're trying to heal your body as fast as possible. That is also why I'm very clear that you don't want to live like this and eat like this forever. It's for a limited time to heal your inflammation, bring down your inflammation so you get results as fast as possible. Then you can move on with your life with no symptoms, okay? And it just helps. That means that when you go on to heal your liver, or when you go on to look at your adrenal health, or when you go on to look at all of these parasites, you've brought down all the inflammation. So everything, it just speeds up every other healing protocol that you want to stack on with this. So that is the intention behind this. And then nuts and seeds. Once again, I am not anti nuts and seeds by any means. I will say things like peanut butter. If you've got mold in your body, that is going to be inflammatory. So there can be reasons why you're sensitive to these foods or reacting to these foods based on what is going on in your body. So what I also see with nuts and seeds is a lot of people aren't chewing the nuts and seeds. They stuff them in their mouths as fast as possible. As they're driving, it becomes what I call the soccer mum's snack. It could be any mum snack that we grab from the glove box when we're in the car driving, as we're talking to the kids, as we're talking on the phone, collecting things, thinking about all the things that we need to do. No judgment by any means. We've all done it, myself included. I haven't chewed those nuts. So they create inflammation. When we're not chewing our food, we're creating inflammation in our body, our stomach, and our small intestines have to work harder to try and break down the food that we don't have the teeth for in the stomach and the small intestines. Okay, so that is the thinking behind that. If you want to use your nuts and seeds as your mindful minutes, really digest them, like break them down, chew them. Sorry, not digest them in your mouth, but chew them. You can absolutely add them in by all means, but please be mindful. I love pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds for my salads, for the toppings. Absolutely. So on top of soups, great sources of zinc, great sources of fat, all sorts of vitamins and minerals. So, like I say, this isn't a long-term way of eating by any means because we need you to get all your vitamins and your minerals from your food, but can be useful in the short term if you think that trying to chew them feels like more hard work. Start off by pulling out all the foods and then absolutely add them back in. Okay, add the nuts and seeds back in if you really feel like you're going to chew them, or have three or four of them at a time. Can you use chia seeds in a chia seed pudding? Absolutely, you can. Can you use the nuts when you're having nut milks? Absolutely. Can you make your own nut milks? Absolutely, to all of those things. So just with that one, be mindful of what's going to work best for you and your family, and whether you notice that you chew them, don't chew them. So also, you will find that non-processed food is always going to get a no-no from me during while we're trying to for the body reset blueprint, because we're trying to bring down inflammation in your body. So when you upload those photos, it's going to tell you why, what ingredient it is that Shelley says no to. So that is the reasoning, the framework, what we're doing, why we're doing it, where it trips you up, what you need to know about nightshades or particular food, what symptoms they give you, and why you want to remove those foods. Work on bring down all your inflammation, and then you can watch my next instant access class on how to bring these foods back in once you're ready. Or you can jump to that straight away if you're big picture and you want to know all about it. We will link where you can purchase that one too. In the meantime, get uploading, have fun. If you're feeling overwhelmed already, I really encourage you, if you haven't already, get the PDFs, get the meal plan and the recipe guide that I've written for you to go with this program. Start with that as you learn how to use the AI tool, how it's going to work best for you as it writes you your shopping list, your weekly meals, traveling, all the things. So do what feels really supportive to you. This is meant to be gentle. Depending on personality types, you'll take this many different ways. But the option is start with the PDFs that I've done for you. Slowly and gently learn how to start putting in your information and things. Do upload your blueprint, your profile that I've set for you. Make sure you do the profile work. That's really key. You now know why I've taken out these foods, how they cause inflammation for you, your family, your friends. Share the information, share the love. Make sure you reach out to me on social media. Let me know how you're going with this program, what was useful in this class, so that I can support you more and you keep getting the health results that you deserve. And if it does feel overwhelming, always take a break. Always just pick one thing to implement first. So, and I'm designed to talk you through this in the program as well. It is designed to be caring and compassionate, really heartfelt, because that is my desire as a practitioner, and I want that to come through in the AI. But you get all my learnings, all my framework, what I've been doing with clients for a decade, instant access so you can get fast results from your own home in your control for you, your family, your loved ones, your extended family, friends, all the works. So get sharing. I really cannot wait to hear your results and how good you feel.